What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
Running man himself, running the race and trying to keep up. What's going on, Spider? I am infinitely awesome. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing amazing. Spectacular, even.
Okay. Oh.
Because today we are back again to review Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hey, they did it.
Season 1 has wrapped up.
They finished it.
They finished season 1, but they've already been greenlit for season 2 and season 3. So best believe we are getting much more.
But that's not an indicator.
It is not an indicator. It is not an indicator. Because we have a few instances, or let me see. Because what has been an instance of a show that was greenlit for a second season, but then that second season failed to perform and to the quality of the first season? I'm trying to think if we've gotten a show that was like that.
There's many shows like that.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think like in recent years.
I'll say Rick and Morty stumbled. And then they pick up their footing in like season 3.
Okay. I can't honestly remember which episodes were in which season, since they're coming up on what, season 8 now?
Oh, yes. Yes, and they're still trying to find their footing. So,
well, I mean, when you have the mix up that they had, then it's kind of, I don't want to say it's back to square one, but I mean, essentially it kind of is, because when you have Rick's primary objective is to find Rick Prime because of everything that Rick Prime did to him, and then we finally achieve that, we are kind of starting over at this point, because like in season 7 they kind of had to like reset, because like, where do we go from here? What's the point of exploring these multiverses now if the Council of Ricks are gone? Evil Morty is doing his own thing, but Rick Prime is taken care of.
Federation is just destroyed as well.
Yeah, so what does Rick have to rebel against?
Nothing. That's why he went to therapy. But
well, to be fair, he started going to therapy before he got his hands on Rick Prime.
The bad part about it is there's nothing for us to champion for him behind him with.
Right.
It's just adventures now with no overall premise. And the Mr. Nimble, Mr. Nimbus, villainry or Nimbus is laughable, because he already discredited, like, you're not my like, I just kind of want to be left alone, dude. Right. Those days are over. And they fight, but, not serious.
Like no real threat behind it.
Right. I'm just going to make fun of you that I beat you up,
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have you arrested by the police because I own the police. You own the police.
I forgot how many times they hammered that joke into that episode. Oh, but we're not here to talk about Rick and Morty. We're not here to talk about. Completely lost my train of thought. Anyway, we're here to talk about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Sometimes it just goes. The thought's there and it just disappears. But
dude, you got it back though. You got it back. Like see, it happens to me too.
Happens to
I was thinking about Harry Potter when he caught the cinch, the little sneaks, the golden snitch.
Yeah,
when he caught it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of trying to catch that idea, then you catch it.
Yeah, you got to chase it down and try to catch it.
Correlating to that.
Hopefully, you don't swallow it and then have to spit it back up. But That's
okay, that's going
neither here
on.
or there. We're crossing too many fandoms, but this is because that's what we do here at All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we ask the question: is it super?
It is super. Is it
We'll find out.
kind of?
It could be. It might be.
Super.
We don't know.
This.
But we'll let you know. But if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to reach out to us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
I guess I can't do that. It was a water pistol. Don't be offended.
I gotta make that distinction.
You know, little assault guns that shoot mosquitoes. So that's what those are. Non-violent.
Yeah.
So
non-lethal, non-violent, all of that stuff.
You know, that makes a hero. The non-lethal, non-violent. That's what makes a hero. And we see our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man struggle with that.
We do. But before we get into talking about the last 8 episodes, I do want to take a moment to talk directly to our audience.
Oh, are we in trouble?
No, not in trouble. This is not. I need to turn my seat back around. So you've got detention. This is not a Captain America moment. This is
a menacing cat like Dr.
No. This is a moment to take out and first of all say thank you to all of our audience, both our video watchers, our audio podcast listeners. We want to thank you for all the support that you guys have given us. Recently, Mr. VIP asked me about the analytics for the show and if I had taken a look at them in recent days, and I hadn't, but in the last couple of days I took a look at them and I see that our numbers are starting to steadily rise as far as our watch time. We're getting some more subscribers, and one thing that I notice is that for the people who are watching our YouTube videos, I'm noticing that about 82% of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribed. Now, you don't have to subscribe, of course, it's entirely up to you. But we do ask, if you can, if you are watching, because the majority of our viewers are return viewers. So if you're already coming back to watch us, it's just one little extra step to just go ahead and subscribe, because that way, if for whatever reason the YouTube algorithm doesn't push our content to your, your dashboard or to your timeline or anything like that, you could be missing out on some quality episodes that you might be interested in watching. But if you were subscribed, you would get that directly sent to you.
And I read comments, so I'm being bashful.
Mr. VIP reads those comments. We actually had a comment on our, what do we do? Because I don't have our channel pulled up right now, but it wasn't because I'm going back in my mind through the episodes that we did. It wasn't Kill Soon. It was a Jurassic World trailer. We got a comment on a Jurassic World trailer. And they say that they really enjoyed our content and they want us to keep it up. And so, it's just nice stuff like that you all send to us that we really appreciate. Like I say, every episode we say we appreciate all the love and support, but we really mean all of that. And I would like to take a second to recognize that person.
There we go.
So if I can just
shout out. I thought you would have had about a third per.
No, I don't have that.
They don't hit the horn repetitively like that.
No. Globy Guy 99. Yeah, Globy Guy 99. Left a comment, said, keep up the good work. I'm going to binge all your videos. So Globy Guy 99, we appreciate it. Hopefully you're watching this one as well.
Hey, that's a large order, Globy.
It is a large order.
We made long content way before it was trendy. We've been doing this.
And then that's also another thing. We do make long form content. A lot of our episodes go into the 2 to 3 hour mark.
Yeah.
For some people, that's not something that they're necessarily interested in. And if that's you and you don't necessarily like long form content, then that's totally fine. We absolutely understand it. Any time that you can devote to listening or watching an episode is still appreciated. So even if you come in and you just watch for a little bit, yeah.
While you at work, put us in your headphones.
You might just want to know what the verdict is. When we watch something, you want to know if it's super or not. You want to hear our final thoughts about it. And if you just want to catch that portion of the episode, then that's totally fine. But any and all support that we get from you guys is absolutely appreciated, and we just wanted to take the time to just say thank you.
And I love you. I'm just gonna put it out there. This is for all love.
I like
all
you
love.
A lot.
Okay, see this guy?
I reserve love for family and friends. We're here, but I'm not trying to get parasocial with anybody.
Please hit the subscribe button so you can tune into the story every time you get an opportunity.
Maybe in time it might elevate a little bit, but that's yet to be seen.
Okay.
It's only been, what, 4 years? How long have we been doing this?
We've been doing it for, I'm not going to age us. I'm going to say it's been a while.
It has been a while.
And things change. If you're not aware of what this show is, it's so inconsistent that it's consistently inconsistent.
That is.
And we love it.
Cruel words have never been spoken.
Yeah, because, we love doing it, and that's why we do it. But back to Spider-Man. How do you want to break this? How do you want to break this down?
I don't want to go through episode by episode because I feel like it's going to be long and drawn out.
Okay.
So we can just talk because we got 8 episodes. We reviewed the first 2 episodes. If you want to check that out, go check out our initial review of the first 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where we talked about, what we thought.
We beyond it.
But no, we can just talk about what we liked about the episodes, if we had any favorite moments or anything, and I guess what we think is gonna happen, because like I said, this is greenlit for season 2 and season 3. We got a lot of. Here's one thing that I appreciate, and we can just kind of go into it from there. And the beginning is the end. We'll talk about the end of episode 10 and how we see the path that all of our characters are on, not just our main characters. We're not just talking about Peter and Nico and Lonnie and Harry. We're talking about just damn near every character that we've been introduced in this show. I would say save for Pearl. We didn't get like a Pearl wrap-up scene at the end of the season. But Peter, Nico, Harry, Lonnie. What's up?
We did get a little bit of Pearl. Remember, you and I were speculating. We didn't know exactly what Pearl was. Then we found out she's Filipino.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know she was Filipino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's Filipino. In the comic, she's the hero Wave. And I believe that part of her power set is that she has the ability to control water, kind of like what was the
Aqualad?
I wasn't thinking Aqualad, but kind of in that realm, yeah. Well, in Aquaman, the leading lady, Amber Heard, what was her character's name? Mira?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of in the same realm as that.
Can you go talk to Disney and tell them we need another Pirates of the Caribbean? Can you do that, Spider?
I can't.
Throw that out there. I'm sure you can.
I mean, I could try to talk to somebody. I doubt they would listen.
Of course they'll listen. You're you. Okay.
Well, I'll put it out there. I'll draft a strongly worded email, and we'll see where that goes.
There you go. Use letters. Use a lot of them in sequences.
But no, what I do appreciate is that they knew where they were going with the story, and they set up so many things at the end of this season that it makes me excited for what we're going to get in season 2. Because one of the things that we talked about in our first 2 episode review was that we get to see all of these characters be fully fleshed out, but nobody feels like they're lacking in any sense of the term, right? We get to understand, Peter's struggles. We get to understand Harry's struggles. We get to understand Lonnie's struggles. We get to understand Nico's struggles. We get to see the turmoil in the relationship between Lonnie and Pearl. We get to see the turmoil in the relationship between Peter and Nico, and then throw Harry in the mix and what's going on between Peter and Norman, and the support coming from Aunt May. And all of this stuff is wrapped up into these like little short 22-minute episodes, but nothing feels rushed. And then also nothing feels left behind. And to be able to have this number of characters and still be able to pace out everything in a way to where we feel like we're getting a sufficient amount from every character. And then to end the season with these cuts to each character and what they're doing and how they're progressing and what they're going to be doing going into the next season. I just thought it was really well done. And I feel like I don't know why a lot more shows can't do these kind of things, especially when they're working with fewer characters. But, Jeff Tremmel and the team over here at Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I feel like they did a great job with this season.
What's his name? The guy, the showrunner, or the one
Jeff Tremmel.
Jeff? Yeah. I'm going to do this to Jeff. And I say to him, if Kevin Feige had to retire, clearly you could be the successor. Just from all this narrative of Spider-Man alone, understanding the lore, understanding the characters, understanding there is a narrative in there, and remember we questioned it when we did the breakdown and said, where does this spider come from? Why is this like, what's going on? And then to have it become a paradox of itself, created himself. He lives, he's outside of time at this point in time because he exists, but he had to exist to make yourself exist.
Listen, I will tell you, when Michelle and I were watching that episode, this is episode 10, when they were getting, that whole episode was such a turn for Norman, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching that time, Michelle, I'm like, he's really taking a fast track into almost villain territory, because he starts monologuing about how he's going to use this technology and progress everything, and he's basically revealing to these young teenagers, how he just basically stole all their work to use for his own benefit. And 3 out of the 4 of them are like, we didn't sign up for this. This is not what we were thinking that this was going towards. And he's like, don't worry about it. When you see what I'm doing, you'll realize how much this is going to benefit everybody. And
when you have Charles say, I already knew what you was doing. I was like, what else?
He was like, yeah. He was like, I figured it out based on the schematics that you gave me. But the way he was monologuing and going into all of that, and how his conviction in his mind, he was so he felt that he was so right about everything, and how it came full circle, because he was talking about how Otto accused him of, stealing everybody else's ideas, or even Otto was saying that Osborn was a hack. Osborn couldn't cut it. He just, benefited off of everybody else's work and then took it. I mean, that's exactly what he did. He took all of the interns' work and Dr. Connors and all of the other Oscorp scientists that were working with the interns.
Clearly, he had to have the vision for it, and he sourced these people, so they could execute their vision. But he had a bigger vision for this total sum of all parts.
Right. but I feel like it's a very villainous thing to do, to hide your hand and not be upfront. If your intentions are pure, which you say they are, then you should have no reason to try to hide it from these people. That's just my thing.
But isn't that the beauty of the character, because he's set in such a questionable gray area? You're like, wait, is he? Wait, he has a good intent. Like, you would expect him to divulge Peter's secret,
right?
Or use it to manipulate him, or not give him options for suits, not be supportive and really try to help. And you felt like, wait a minute, he's not this Osborn that we know. This is different. This is something different. He's really trying to help.
Right.
And this is familiar because we've seen this from Far From Home. It's like, well, okay, maybe Osborn's going to be like Peter. I mean, it's like Tony Stark. And maybe we'll see a version of, the Dark Avengers. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. And that's one of the best things you can do to a fan base that's seen multiple things,
right?
Multiple iterations, multiple versions, and don't want to see the same story, don't want to see the same origin, they want to see your take on it, your twist on it. And again, I have to applaud them for that twist, because you haven't seen something like it in a long time.
Yeah.
What's the twist?
What the twist? But no, it's that whole breakdown while he's monologuing, he's getting ready to activate.
Well, you have to monologue.
You have to monologue, and that's just to show.
So nobody had no call himself a sorcerer. You destroyed the school. It was you. It was your fault.
But even before we got to that part, when he tells the scientist, he's like, activate the portal, and then we see the sling ring portal open. He's like, do you see what I've accomplished? And see, nothing happened. And the doctor was like, I haven't done anything yet. And then when I saw that, as soon as I saw Doctor Strange come out of the portal, and when Peter was like, oh, it was you at Midtown High, and then Norman starts accusing him of being responsible for all of the destruction, and Doctor Strange was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
As soon as Doctor Strange said that, I was like, shit, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I clocked it. I clocked it immediately, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, you can't do this. You can't do this, because it fundamentally doesn't work, because it made me furious, but at the same time I also loved it, because like you said, we've gotten the same origin stories again and again and again, and we talked about this in our last review of the first 2 episodes, when we thought that it was going to be a multi-dimensional thing, is that if we don't have an explanation into where the spider comes from, how it was able to make its way through a multi-dimensional rift for whatever reason, then how are we supposed to, I guess, even though we're suspending our disbelief, how are we supposed to like just take that in and just like let that be Peter's origin? And then they come up with this paradox of because Peter got hurt, and it's like so many things had to have happen in order for Peter to get his powers. So Peter works with Norman Osborn, finds Peter Parker. Well, Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. Peter Parker is out doing Spider-Man things. Norman Osborn sees Spider-Man and says, I want to be able to replicate that. So I'm going to gather up the best and brightest young minds in New York, because I suspect that one of them could possibly be Spider-Man. How? I guess just based on
helping Spider-Man.
Yeah, or help Spider-Man. Yeah, that's what it was. I suspect that one of them are helping Spider-Man. and then come to find out that Peter is Spider-Man. So he starts to work with Spider-Man to the sense of now he is fighting with Norman directing him, and Norman's kind of guiding him, mentoring him. But on top of all of that, we also get Lonnie's story and his trajectory and where he came from and what he's doing. Because if Lonnie never joins the 1/10th, do we still get that same instance of Scorpion, right? Because you think about it, if Lonnie never joined the 1/10th, he doesn't save Big Donovan. Big Donovan gets killed and the Scorpions pretty much take over, but Gargan doesn't have to go to Otto to get the Scorpion suit because his competition is already taken care of, right? So we don't get a Scorpion. We don't get Peter getting beat to shit. We don't get Peter get beat to shit. We don't get the blood being taken. If we don't get the blood being taken, we don't get the spider being experimented on. We don't get the spider being experimented on, then we don't get the spider to go back to the past to bite Peter in the first place. And we don't get Spider-Man.
What's really gonna cook your noodle is, would you have broken the vase before she mentioned it?
And that's what made me mad, because
it made you mad.
Yeah, because it made me mad because of the mental gymnastics that you have to do to be able to be like, just everything that I explained. No, because everything that has to happen to be put in place for Peter to become Spider-Man hinges off of him already being Spider-Man.
That's what creates the paradox.
Right, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is that
yes, it's very well.
It's because it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, yes, it's nonsensical, because even though none of these superhero stories are realistic in the sense that it could potentially happen in real life, so regardless of how he got the powers, it's something that's like fantastical, right? It's not realistic. But then at the same time, it's so unrealistic that it's like, does this really work?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
It makes sense in this. It makes sense in a way of how, based on everything that we've learned about time travel. Well, not everything that we learned about time travel, because the thing about it is that if you go off of the Avengers Endgame explanation of time travel, that when
this ain't the Avengers.
No, but this is still MCU. So you would think that
it's an MCU property, yeah, but there's a multiversal story, so who knows if those rules apply?
So the rules of time travel in a cinematic universe doesn't extend to different universes within that universe? Because I would imagine that the rules for time travel in 616 will still apply for the rules of time travel in 838.
So we discovered time travel through Tony's discovery of time travel, which was going through the quantum realm. But we have also come to realize that there's other ways of time travel. We've seen the sling ring with infinity stones glued on there, and somehow became a multi-dimensional time travel situation.
Right.
How else? We got time travel from Gamora being in the past. That's what the quantum realm too, right? So there's other way. We see Moon Knight time travel through time and space when
he fast forwarded the sky or something.
Yeah. So there's just different ways is what all I'm sharing is. Anyway, that's not even this. This is different. This is Doctor Strange was not, and I remember you and I talked about this. He said we didn't know if it was multi-strange or it was strange from the same universe.
Right. Because he didn't know doesn't mean that he wasn't from that universe.
Right. Just because he said we're not supposed to be here, it didn't mean that it was the implication that maybe it was a multiversal strange, but it was the same strange from the same universe, which again, twist.
Yeah.
For guys and girls that have seen it all, that's a way to subvert expectations. You got, we're hooked in now. We're hooked in because of the creative twist that he took. And he's right there from Bleecker Street. They wasn't supposed to be there, but he didn't intentionally time travel. That's what we learned. You have to really have to catch that. It was the symbiote that hit the time stone that made the spell, the switch, or the portal switch, and then they ended up time traveling to the school. So they weren't supposed to be there because that wasn't his intention to take them there.
Right.
Charlie's trying to take them back to the little spawn dimension that all the symbiotes come from. No hometown.
So then it begs the question as to why that particular time and place.
He hit the time stone. He could have been anywhere.
It could have been anywhere, but it wasn't anywhere. It was right outside of Midtown High on Peter's first day of school. But not
planning, they say, Peter says, I think the things that are meant to happen are meant to happen.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I was going with that. You know, regardless of how we dissect it or try to analyze it, it's just one of those things that it was going to happen because it was meant to happen.
Yeah, he's going to be Spider-Man. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. And so like what I was saying that, you know, when we got the realization that it was a whole paradox that he became Spider-Man because he was already Spider-Man. And that's why I was like, oh, this is, But then, you know, we get that line and it's not that they're explaining it away or they're pushing it aside. It actually makes sense because it's in a world where we have destinies, right? We talk about the web of life and destiny and how some things are predetermined. Some things are inevitable. It happens regardless. Anchor beings, you know, I always forget her name. Palmer. Dr. Palmer.
Kiki?
No, not Kiki Palmer. From Doctor Strange. Yes, Christine. I don't know why I always forget her name. Christine Palmer. In What If? How Doctor Strange tried to reverse time many times in order to try to save her life, and every single time there was just another instance that happened that she would get killed or she would lose her life. Because it was something that was supposed to happen. If it's meant to happen, it's always going to happen, and there's nothing that you can do to avoid it. So, regardless of the universe that we're in, he's gonna always become Spider-Man. He's always going to become Spider-Man. There's nothing that we can do to avoid it. Even in the Ultimates comics run that they're doing right now, we're living in a universe where most of the superheroes did not get their powers, but because of a multidimensional Tony Stark, he ends up contacting a much older Peter Parker. This is a Peter who's an adult. He's married to MJ. They have 2 kids. He's living his life just as Peter Parker, but life finds a way and he ends up becoming Spider-Man anyway. And now he has to learn how to become Spider-Man as an adult, navigating his adult life and trying to juggle being Spider-Man as well. But again,
did he get bit?
No, it wasn't bit. It was more of I want to say it was an injection that he had to do to himself, because the message that Tony gave him was like, the world needs superheroes and this is who you were meant to be. And Peter had it, like he had the thought in his mind, it's like, I'm living this life, but I'm feeling unfulfilled. Like I feel like there was meant to be something else that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not doing. And he just couldn't put his finger on it. And then, you know, all of that stuff happened. But like you said, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And so Peter is meant to be Spider-Man. And so it found a way.
You outside of time, I'm gonna still make you Spider-Man. Curse you, Spider-God. I can't run from this destiny.
You can't run from it. But
Change your name.
having Peter make that statement, you know, where Doctor Strange was like, you know, this was something that could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. We get a level of remorse from Doctor Strange that we don't normally see come out of him in most interpretations that we've seen. Yeah. But so he's feeling remorse about it. He's feeling regret about it because like this is something that shouldn't have happened. But not that Peter's trying to make him feel better, but he's like, I feel like this is something that was meant for me. This is something that was going to happen regardless. And it made like I said, it's not brushing away the whole paradox of it all, but it is putting into your mind that if it was a paradox, if it was straight from Oscorp, if it was from a multidimensional rift, regardless of the circumstances that brought the spider to Peter, the spider was always going to find a way to Peter. And this is just how this iteration wanted to portray it.
Can't really say that one, Spider. Even though you're 100% right, but that spider didn't die. We clearly saw that spider.
No. I'm not saying anything about the spider dying, but it found its way to Peter.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's the only person that can find its way to, because we do have, you know, the Into the Spider-Verse of it all, well, Across the Spider-Verse of it all, where we saw that a spider was supposed to go after a Miles Morales, but it got warped to a different universe. So it went after a different Miles Morales, where a universe with a Peter Parker Spider-Man had already existed. Whereas the Miles Morales it was supposed to bite did not have a Peter Parker Spider-Man in that universe. So the spider may not always get to Peter Parker, but there is a eventuality where the spider is going to find who it was supposed to find, regardless of the circumstances. So whether we get that same spider that bit Peter, if that's going to bite Miles, if it's going to bite Cindy Moon, if it's going to bite Gwen Stacy, you know, whoever that spider is going to go after now, because like you said, we still see that spider did not die. It's going to go after who it was meant to go after as the universe sees fit.
Well, we know by those names that you named. And this series is not afraid of sharing names.
No, not at all.
You've seen a list that was on the web, or the list that recruiters that, you know, Harry was seen Ned leads on that name. Yep. You've seen a lot of production people. You've seen a lot of characters on that name, on that list. And it'll be interesting if they are in the show, because again, they are villains. I know Ned's a villain, and you know some other characters are part of the show. Will we see the Rogues Gallery? Is that, you think, just the goal, to actually get the Rogues Gallery out real easy to do a Sinister Six once you got? Because who are we missing? We're missing Vulture.
We're missing Vulture. We're missing Electro. And because I mean,
Rhino hasn't transformed.
Yeah, Rhino. We don't have Rhino yet, but
we have the base of him. The guy that was with Dimitri is Rhino.
Well, that was Rhino's dad, because that was a different Sistovich. That wasn't Alexei. I want to say, what was his name?
It'll be interesting to see how they go with the Rhino, though.
Yeah,
clearly
that
they're
was
gonna make it seem
Mikhail Sistovich.
Because with the gas hitting Ronnie like it did, making him the Tombstone.
Right.
But how do you feel about the slow burn?
The slow burn with Lonnie?
The slow burn with everybody. Because again, you got characters like the Unicorn. You got characters that you clearly see. Dr. Connors is going to be the Lizard.
Yeah.
We all know. She's super sweet. You know, she's sitting there lying for Peter, talking about Peter help with their project. Mm-hmm. Peter was not there. He did not help. I really just come at it. They were perfect. Like, that might have been true. She might have did. Clearly she did, because she put it together, because he getting credit for it. So she's looking out for him, and everything that he's doing, he needs that. But at the same time, you know what's going to happen to her.
Yeah.
You already know as an audience member.
But no,
Do you think we'll see everyone?
Everyone might be a bit of a stretch. I feel like with these next 2 seasons, yeah, we're going to focus on some villains, but I don't think we'll see eventually, depending on how long the show goes, because
you got to get
however
Fisk in
they
there.
want to like merge this up with the MCU, however this is going to be intertwined with what's going on in the MCU movies, you know, it might determine what villains we get, what villains we don't get. But I appreciate the slow burn because it goes into the dilemma that Peter's going to have to face when they become these more powerful villains, and Peter has to stop them because there's now this personal connection with all these people. You know, like in the Spider-Man video game, where, spoilers if you haven't played the first Spider-Man video game.
What are you doing if you haven't played this first Spider-Man game?
It came out in like
understand.
2018. It's been a minute.
Well, some people don't have a station that plays.
That's also true. But in the 2018 Marvel Spider-Man video game, Peter worked in a lab with Otto Octavius, and they were working on, like, I'm trying to they basically thought controlled prosthetics, right, for amputees.
Yeah, for amputees.
Right. And so
game changer, revolutionary work.
Yeah, and kind of like the same way that it happened in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2, where the transistor or the chip, you know, fried and Otto's arms start to take over his mind and everything like that. Kind of the same thing happens in the video game where the technology is kind of affecting Otto's brains, making him rage a little bit, coupled with his hatred for Norman Osborn and all this other kind of stuff, eventually makes him a villain. And so we get the climactic fight scene between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, and the emotion that Yuri Lowenthal portrays into Peter, because we have the situation where Otto has unleashed his biovirus on the entire city of New York, and it's affecting Peter's loved ones, and he knows who Otto is. He's worked with Otto for years, and he knows Otto to be a decent person, but now this rage has overcome him, and he's doing all of these nefarious things. And so now in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we'll get, you know, Lonnie becoming because he's already the leader of the 1/10 now. He's becoming, you know, the Tombstone that we know with the albino skin, and he's already, you know, impervious to damage. But we're getting Norman kind of transforming. We're going to get, you know, Dr. Octopus. We're going to get a chameleon, probably. We're going to get Rhino. And so for these people that Peter has had these interactions with, and now they become villains, there's that personal connection that he's going to have to overcome, to where he has to realize that, okay, we can't just have a conversation and I'll be able to de-escalate this. It's going to have to come to a fight. I'm going to have to take them down, not take them out, where we saw that we know Tombstone to be a villain. Anyone who's familiar with the comics, who's familiar with the other iterations of Tombstone and the different Spider-Man TV shows and movies, we know Tombstone to be a villain. But for Tombstone to be Spider-Man's moral compass in episode 9, when Peter is about to go full, you know, murderous rage on Scorpion because of what Norman, somebody who was his mentor and he looked up to, Norman told him, and this is another thing that, not that it made me like mad realistically, but it was like, as a fan, you was like, I hate this. When Norman tells Peter the great line.
I didn't hate it at all.
No, I didn't hate it, but it was like, I know that that's not the way that this phrase is supposed to be stated. With great power comes great respect. And it's like, you're just shitting on everything that Spider-Man is supposed to stand for. But it's not in I'm not upset about it in a literal way. I appreciate it because, as we talked about before, this is a different Spider-Man. This is a different universe. This is a different an origin series for Spider-Man, right? And so we get that line, with great power comes great respect, and we see Peter contemplate it.
Yeah.
But we don't see him.
We see how it plays out.
Right. We don't see him fully accept it. Because even at the end of that episode where we get that line, Peter's talking to Harry, and even Harry's telling him, he was like, well, yeah, my dad has a lot of power, he has a lot of respect, but he's not Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man.
That's true.
So only you can determine what's the best course of action for Spider-Man to take. So if in your heart of hearts, you don't think that you want to be that person that's just going to go out and stop pulling your punches so you can take out the villains once and for all, so people can respect your, respect your mind, respect your name. They see Spider-Man coming, they get out of the way. And so we see Peter not fully accept that until...
Wait. How good is that to come from your friend?
Right. And that's what I'm saying. We have these people who aren't normally Peter's moral compass become his moral compass, right? We get it from Harry, we get it from Lonnie, people who we don't typically see steering Peter in the right direction. Because normally it's his memory of Ben, it's May, pushing him in the right direction, stuff like that. But to be able to see it come from these people, again, is going to make it even harder when he has to come to blows with Lonnie, when he has to come to blows with Harry, because, especially because... What's that?
Because you're so emotionally invested.
Exactly.
You're so emotionally invested, you're going to die when someone... It's Game of Thrones. You're invested so much emotionally because you've seen that long walk from the school all the way down to, your house, and have no idea how you got accepted in that school.
Right.
You're so far away, but it's a STEM school, so maybe, I don't know.
I mean, he's smart. So, he may have a test grade to get there.
He is also having to defend how smart he is to people. He's like, yeah, I'm smart.
Right.
So another reason for you to, hey, guy, just because he's the captain of the football team, always has to show people that he's smart, not just a dumb jock. That's crazy. And which is why they were winning. Which, when he wasn't there, was why they were losing.
Why they lost. And speaking of that, we got the announcement from the coach over the school intercom saying that, that they lost a championship game and they're going to be holding tryouts because they're going to be looking for a new quarterback. So I'm wondering if next year we get a Flash Thompson.
Here we go. There he is.
And it might be this. Yeah, and so it might be the thing where Peter tries to befriend Flash because he was such a good friend of Lonnie, but Flash isn't going to want anything to do with him. So we might get, going back to that same Flash being a bully to Peter and all this other kind of stuff.
It's interesting that they didn't do it now in the beginning. Again, so for circumventing expectations.
Right.
Because we're tired of seeing Peter get beat up and he's bullied and picked on. And again, it's the same narrative. He's popular here. He's friends with Lonnie, and Lonnie is his friend, and they're popular. They get invited to parties, and everyone's looking for him. Everyone wants to work with him in class. Hey, I want Peter as my lab partner, which I don't know why. He doesn't do any work. He's always late.
Here's my thing. So Peter was supposed to be
the other girl. What's her name? Doing all the work. They would have got an F on that project.
Yeah. Was that Carmilla?
Carmilla.
I think that might have been her name. I think her name might have been Carmilla.
Carmilla.
No. I'm looking at the wrong episode. It wasn't. I don't think her name was Carmilla.
Caramel.
But
Caramel.
No, it's not Caramel. Because that was what, episode 9 or 10? I think it might have been episode 9.
That would be okay.
But no, you're absolutely right. Had it not been for her, they would absolutely have failed that assignment. They would absolutely failed that assignment. But it's, as you said, circumventing the expectations of what we know about Spider-Man's origins. And yeah, you're absolutely right, because he has an internship where 90% of the time he wasn't there. He's supposed to be working on this project. He had to switch lab partners to be lab partners with Pearl because Lonnie stopped coming to class and he dropped out. But even still, when he's doing his Spider-Maning before school, which I don't know why he thinks that's a good idea, because he's always late because he's out doing Spider-Man things before school. But again, as we know,
shouldn't be saving Spider. Crime don't sleep. You know,
that's true.
Daredevil can't be everywhere.
Also true. And I mean, you know, during the day, Daredevil got his lawyer in the do, so we can't.
Well, he's a very trash lawyer.
He's not a Daredevil. Matt Murdock wins cases. You might call him a trash superhero, whatever. You cannot call Matt Murdock a trash lawyer. Matt Murdock wins cases.
Trash is trash.
I would hate to see you get a court case and you have your opposing defense, your opposing litigation is Matt Murdock, because he's gonna win. He wins cases.
I'm hiring Matt Murdock. You just go.
You just called him trash. You gonna hire a lawyer that you call trash?
Yes. I just call him trash for good reason. He's always in a dumpster.
We'll see what happens in Born Again. But
he'll be in a dumpster.
But no, my thing is that he's out doing his superhero before school, and whatever shop owner or the guy whose car he got back for him or whatever, who was holding on to the box of the project, and even before he started shaking it. First of all, why would you shake up the box?
Why would you shake it? Yeah, that's not for you. That's so rude.
Peter's trying to get the box back, and he's like keeping it away from him and shaking it. But even before he started shaking it, the box was already beat up. You mean to tell me that Peter didn't have a clean shoebox?
Hey man, when you're fighting crime, you know you gotta.
I guess.
Be ready for whatever.
Again, this is Peter in his freshman year of high school, so he's learning. He's learning, you know. Yeah, he's learning, trying to learn how to balance high school and being Spider-Man. So, you know, it's a hard line to balance.
And he ain't got no help. Well, he got help, but not help out there.
You're right.
I mean, Osborn is the guy in the chair.
He's a dude at the desk.
Sometimes he delegated to his son to be the guy in the chair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the dude in the desk.
Yeah.
Which is, again, clever. Very clever.
Right.
Very clever play.
It's so much of this show is we're going to make references to things that seem familiar, but we're going to make it just different enough so we can stand apart from those things that we're referencing.
Have you seen our first? No, I'm talking to the viewers.
Yeah.
If y'all saw our first breakdown for those 2 episodes, we got into that. We really talked about how this leaned heavily on either nostalgia or paying homage to what you've seen before. Now seeing the whole season, again, I can appreciate the subtle references to pull you back in to this is what you're used to, but this is not what you think it is. And it keeps a genre that hasn't seen the story. I know the story. I know the iteration of this, but it's different enough to say, wait a minute. It could be gender swap. It could be race swap. It could be a plethora of that, but it could have a different origin, but it's traditionally the same. And they're paying homage to, but at the same time, they're telling it. It's complex, Spider. It's a thinking man's game. I don't want to play 3D chess with Jeff. I think he'll win. I think he'll win. And plus, I don't know how to play 3D chess, so I'm pretty sure if he does, he'll definitely win. But there's complexity to it, and it's not just we're throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. He's making you love these characters, and I would not be surprised in season 2 we get more backstory about Pearl and more backstory of Nico. Clearly, she got secrets she's keeping.
Yeah.
After Spider-Man told her no more secrets without the mask, and then put the mask on and swung off, and she's over there judging him about secrets, and she keeps. Ain't that hypocritical?
Absolutely.
Ain't that hypocritical?
And it seems to always turn out that way.
His friends ain't no good. All of them gonna try to kill him. I'm just letting you know early. The spoiler alert: all your friends trash feed.
Well, I don't know. Harry seems to be pretty decent. I can't say that Harry's trash right now. He's a little bit clueless about some things, calling raisins caviar, but I mean, I feel like he has good intentions.
First of all, I don't believe that at all because I know he tastes caviar before. At the same time, didn't Harry try to kill Toby? So
I mean, that's a different Harry, though.
Listen. Ned said he won't turn into the Hobgoblin and kill Tom. And I know I use character names and actor names, but I did it twice, so that lets you know I did it on purpose.
But here's the thing, because it's so in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, at the end of Spider-Man 1, Norman Osborn gets killed by his own glider. Peter takes them back to his penthouse. Harry sees Spider-Man drop off his dead father. And so that fuels a hatred within Spider-Man because Harry thinks either Spider-Man killed his father or Spider-Man got his father killed. One of the two. Now, if something similar happens in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, can you imagine how, because there's two ways that I feel like they could take that story, right? Because Harry in this universe already knows that Peter is Spider-Man. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Harry didn't know. It wasn't until Spider-Man 3 that he found out, or that he realized, or whatever. But
he made the moves on the main girlfriend.
He did.
Him and MJ started. And where MJ loyalty is at? She just go say that. She knew they was friends. Y'all out here. That's why they didn't give Mary Jane no love, because she was out here feeling like Harry got money. Peter ain't got no money. He broke. And he be late. I ain't got no time.
But for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the two ways that I think that could be played out is that, one, we can go down that same road where Harry doesn't know that his dad is Green Goblin, but he knows that Peter, for some reason or another, ends up getting Norman killed, right? Or getting Norman hurt. And so he resents Peter because of it. Or Harry can find out that Norman is a Green Goblin, and it can come down to Peter and Norman going to blows. Peter comes out on top, Norman gets hurt, and then Harry understands why Peter had to do what he had to do. Then he becomes Goblin Jr., Green Goblin as well, but he's doing it for the right reasons. He's trying to reform, the Green Goblin name. Whatever. However they decide to take that story when it comes to that situation, I feel like it's going to be that much more impactful because of the relationship that Harry and Peter have had from the beginning from episode 1, right? Because Peter saved Harry in episode 1.
Yep. Swinging through. Made it a point of contention. He's on the cover.
Yeah.
Spider-Man saving Harry Osborn.
But here's
even if they don't do any of that, they still have the situation that they're already estranged. I mean, Harry started his own company. Yeah. He didn't approve of what his father's doing, opening a portal to another dimension to pull resources. Stop. What is happening right now? You're off your man. What are you talking about? We already got money. We need to try to explore the cosmos. And then a sorcerer shows us out of nowhere. Talking about don't do it. You're the one that broke the school.
It was you. You're the one responsible for all the destruction. You destroyed the school.
We got nothing to do with it. Like, turn this thing off.
No, you know the line that got me that was so good. The line when he said, when Doctor Strange is telling him that, he's mad for doing all of this and he's, out of his mind. And so he's like, you're trying to call me crazy. I don't know too many sane people who call themselves sorcerers. Right. And I was like, damn, he kind of got you on that one.
Reality check, my guy.
Look, most people who go around calling themselves sorcerers are maybe not all up there.
Well, you say you float over us like gods, and it's like so telling because it's like Doctor Strange is flying right now. Yeah. So it's kind of like you kind of want to control the order of things.
Right.
You don't want nobody else to have power. Just I'm doing this for the good of humanity. And what happens when the Avengers don't show up? And things of that nature. So you're still in that gray area with Osborn. You're like, hey, let me say something. Since Willem Dafoe did Osborn, this is a great depiction of the character.
Coleman Domingo did a great job as Norman Osborn.
Oh my goddamn! The total line from mentor to tormentor.
I like that.
Hey man,
trademark that. Copyright it. Put it on a shirt.
ATS merch coming soon. I do have a new stuff coming though. I think you'll like it. I think they'll like it too.
But I got a question for you. I got a question for you because you asked me how did I feel about the slow burn with the relationships that are developing between the characters. How do you feel about those times where we weren't focused on Peter? We got to see the development of the friendship between Harry and Nico, how Nico pretty much resented Harry because he came from money, because he was of this elite status into the celebrity world, and how he's not connected to, reality in a sense because of the lives that we live as regular people, and how, the rich 1% are so out of touch with that, and how she's against capitalism and all this other kind of stuff. And the relationship that or the trajectory that their relationship took, or the relationship between Lonnie and Pearl and how that devolved, but how his relationship with the rest of the 110 strengthened, and how, first off, he was doing it just to keep his brother safe, but how he found the sense of camaraderie and brotherhood with the gang to the point to where he was willingly giving up school and giving up football to be with the 110 to make sure that his brothers in the...
They showed his leadership abilities as a quarterback, getting the team riled up behind the trophy, getting Peter riled up, getting that sense of leadership was already there.
Right.
But so how do I feel about it?
How do you feel about the show taking time away from Peter? Because of course the show is titled Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but there were so many segments that we had in the show where we got to see other characters develop. Did you feel like we lingered on any character for too long? Did you feel like while we were focused on Harry and Nico, do you feel like, okay, well, I'm ready for us to get back to Peter? What is your take on the time that we spent with the other characters that weren't Peter?
I don't feel like nothing was taken away. I think the genius is in setting the stage. The genius is in making us fall in love with the ensemble of characters, because it's giving them backstory. It's not just a random villain, okay, or even if it is the villain that you don't know their backstory in an iteration like this.
Right.
I definitely didn't know Lonnie's backstory iteration like this, because from what I understand, they kind of created it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It gives the characters such much more depth to know, such much more of a personal gravitas, because they're friends. I mean, essentially, he's the Ned of, not Ned, I don't think Eco is kind of like the Ned, but they're friends, and he voluntarily wanted Peter and not to use him to actually do work.
Right. Because he recognized Peter's intelligence, and he's like, he would be a great person to collaborate with.
And they hit it off.
Yeah. Boom. And this was in a time where Peter was jealous of him because he was dating the girl that he wanted to get with. And he was like, I can't even be mad at him because he's such a cool guy.
I wonder how much is that going to play a part later on, because, personally, Lonnie had her first, and clearly Pearl's feeling Peter. Makes me wonder if they will bring in a Gwen Stacy or will bring in a Silk or even a Betty Jane.
I think that they are.
Or Mary Jane.
I think that Mary Jane won't be until later. I don't know if they're going to bring in Mary Jane maybe in season 3 or maybe introduced in season 2, but it's not as big of a character.
Listen, 100 years. Neighborhood Spider-Man. 100 years. Let's go ahead and get Jeff's syndication deal right now and start playing. Because this is quality entertainment. I'm going to ask you the question now, Spider, because it's clear how I feel. Maybe not. Maybe people are still wondering, but they don't know how you feel. So I'm going to ask you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the Marvel remix for the soft reboot.
Oh, we are getting Gwen Stacy for sure. Jeff Trammell put it on his Instagram. When was this? I don't know when it was, but he released the art for Gwen Stacy. So we're absolutely getting a Gwen Stacy.
Well,
this was 3 days ago.
We already know. We already know who the spider bites now.
Yeah, that probably is how that's going to happen.
It's to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm not mad at it at all. But is it super? Hell yeah, absolutely. This show was amazing. This is probably one of my favorite iterations of a Spider-Man animated show. I've watched Spectacular Spider-Man. I've watched The Amazing Spider-Man. I watched the MTV animated Spider-Man series. Of course the 90s Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. I've seen them all.
This is your guy. Basically, you're saying this is your guy. Name yourself after somebody's close to.
Listen, it's taken everything that we know about Spider-Man and given it a fresh coat of paint. Like you said, we've seen the origin stories. We've seen Uncle Ben get killed. We've seen him practice with his powers develop. We've seen Peter in almost every which way possible. And the fact that they can still make things new, they can bring in other characters who aren't as well known. They brought in the Unicorn. They bring in Nika Minoru. They bring in Pearl and make them feel like already well-established parts of Spider-Man's world, where we normally would not have them established in Peter Parker or Spider-Man's world. Taking the one-for-one shots from Civil War, and again, subverting expectations, turning things on their head, where we used to have Tony Stark be a mentor, now we have Norman Osborn, and we see the trajectory of how Peter's Spider-Man career goes because of it. Whereas in Civil War, Tony was like, you know what? I shouldn't have brought a kid here. This was a mistake. You got to go home. You're done. Go home. And now we have Norman Osborn is like, look, you have to be brutal. These guys are trying to kill you. They're not going to stop. The reason you lose is because you hold back when they don't. And to see that...
Well, it's funny how you knew that he pulled his punches, but if you're watching on data, you could probably see him pulling your punches. But okay, I'll accept that. It's not like Norman's not smart.
Yeah, no. He's actually, he's absolutely smart. And you would imagine that, especially with all the technology that he has in the suits, it's showing, if he's stopping a speeding car, he can tell how much strength it takes to stop that car. And then if he's only using a percentage of that strength to punch out a villain, like clearly, yeah, you're pulling your punches, you're holding back.
Yeah, you're pulling your punches.
But the story, the animation, the fight scenes, that fight scene where Peter and Lonnie teamed up to take down the Scorpion, and how Lonnie is realizing that he can't be hurt, and the two of them are like running at Scorpion, and Scorpion's like darting its tail back and forth at him, and how Spider-Man is using his spider moves, but Lonnie is using like football maneuvers, like he's hurdling the tail, he's doing spin moves, he's juking left and right. And that one shot where it's like the split screen with both of them's face, that's, their Spider-Man comics are famous for doing the split shots of Peter in a mask and Peter without the mask. But to see Peter in a mask and then Lonnie, it's like, again, if you don't really know the story of Tombstone and where he ends up, it's like you are thinking that this kid is going to be another hero, right? He's going to be the type of person, like, even though he's in a gang, he's going to be the one to, not run guns or run drugs or anything like that. He's going to be the type of community leader. Like, we're protecting our streets, but we're doing it for the sake of the people rather than to just acquire territory, right?
Is that what we're thinking?
That's what I'm saying. If you aren't familiar with Tombstone, that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like he was interested when they were unpacking all the guns. He didn't look like he was interested in all of that. As far as the whole rivalry thing, he wasn't look like he was worried about the safety of everybody if the Scorpions encroached on their turf, but it wasn't like he was eager to try to beat the Scorpions and take over their turf.
This is also true. Hey, what's that girl that was helping the Scorpion, the young lady that followed Lonnie getting spooks?
Oh, that's a great question. I know they said her name, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it seems like it's a love interest. There's something there. It would be interesting if they play that out in season 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
With the Scorpion gone, she can make her way towards that inner circle. She can't sting him. His skin is impenetrable.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see if he pull that thread.
No, that would be interesting. But
yeah, little cat and mouse they played. Clearly they was making eyes at each other. Go back and watch it.
That was
It's worth watching. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Carmilla and Carmilla and Lonnie. I mean, I don't know if
that's one of the things that Justice League, Unlimited Justice League got right. When we started to see that relationship between Hawkgirl and Green Lantern, John Stewart, like, ooh, which makes sense. Why wouldn't they? Ooh. And then they break up, and then he got with Vixen, and it's like, ooh, it's getting saucy. Ooh. And then you find out that they had a kid in the future, and it's like, ooh, they get back together. Again, it makes the difference, because we want to see the hero stuff. But one of the things that people don't appreciate about Age of Ultron is when we saw the heroes in their downtime. What do you do when you're not avenged? Like, are you guys together? Do you have, are you training? Which is one of the things that made you love the Teen Titans, because they trained together. In the X-Men, they trained together. So you see them preparing for these notions. And what do you do when you can't hit that move, and then we need you to hit that move, and then when you hit it in battle, we're cheering because we see you struggle with that move.
Right.
I'm giving too much away. But it's genius that's going into it. It's genius. I cut you off, Spidey. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
You hitting the nail on the head. Everything that they did in the show was great.
You can't hit anywhere else. It's not going in straight. I can guarantee you that.
Jesus Christ. But no, I absolutely think that show was super. I enjoyed every single episode. I don't, like we said in our first review that we did of the first 2 episodes, we were, wondering where this whole thing was. And I think that the only gripe that either one of us had was, if this is a multiverse thing, are we going to see the payoff of that, where the spider came from? And we got the payoff of where the spider came from, regardless of it's because it's a paradoxical type thing or not. They clearly had a plan, and they had a plan. They had the way on how they wanted to tell the story. And my question was, and this, I think this was a conversation that we had off recording, but that Doctor Strange would show up in the credits of every episode.
We do have some conversations off recording,
right? But Doctor Strange would show up in the credits of every episode, as with all of the other characters, but we were getting all of the other characters in every episode. We weren't getting Doctor Strange. So
right.
They were clearly showing us that Doctor Strange was going to be a bigger part of this that we just hadn't seen yet. So it was just a matter of time as to when he comes back. One thing that this isn't my original thought, but it's something that I do kind of agree with. Another one of the review shows that I normally watch, they said that their only kind of, not even a complaint, but observation was that Peter's appearance seemed a little out of place for this universe, because we're in, and I'll explain what I'm saying, and I'll explain as to why I think this was the way that it was. But so in this universe, in this timeline, wherever we are with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, this is taking place in 2016. And I was trying to do the math in my head, because originally Spider-Man Freshman Year, which was the original title of the show, was supposed to be the sort of backstory of where Tom Holland's Spider-Man came from before we met Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Civil War.
Yeah.
And so
they scrapped that.
Yeah, and so they changed it from Spider-Man Freshman Year to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And I want to say, because what year did Civil War come out? Civil War came out in 2016. So again, same year. They talk about the Sokovia Accords. They talk about the battle in Germany at the airport and everything. So all of this is still following.
They've been trying to get this off the ground.
Say again?
You say from 2016 till now they've been trying to get this off the ground?
No. I'm saying that, right, the show is taking place in 2016. So it's still following the MCU timeline of everything that happened. So Peter Parker was a freshman in 2016. Tony Stark came and got him and brought him to Germany for the fight. And then we don't pick up with Peter again until his junior year. I think he was in his junior year in No Way Home. I'm sorry, in Homecoming. And then over the summer between Homecoming and No Way Home, we had Far From Home. That's when he was going on their Europe trip, and then he came back in No Way Home as a senior in high school, and then ultimately, dropped out because everybody forgot who Peter Parker was. But following that timeline from 2016 to where we are in the MCU now, because Captain America Brave New World took place in 2027. But you take Peter Parker and you look at how he's dressed compared to everyone else in the show. Everybody else is a little bit more modern, because we have Nico, and Nico's hair is dyed different colors. We have Harry, who's has dreads, but they're like tied up in the high ponytail. We have Lonnie with cornrows. They're more modern hairstyles, more modern. They're dressed more modernly, but we still have Peter. Peter looks like he's pulled straight out of the comics from 1960s Amazing Fantasy. He looks.
Yeah, he stands out.
Yeah. And we see at the end of every episode, we see the concept art for all of the characters and how, they were looking at facial structures, they were looking at hairstyles, all this other kind of stuff. But I think that the reason behind that is because of, and this is just my theory, this isn't necessarily what was confirmed or anything like that. My theory is that...
All right, that's why you got to show. Share your theories with whoever want to listen.
Yeah. But my theory is that it's because of Ben's upbringing with Peter. I feel like Ben was sort of an old-fashioned kind of guy, and I think that Ben's sense of style imparted himself upon Peter, so Peter dresses the way that Ben may have dressed when he was younger. But that was one of the things that, that was an observation. It was like, as the animation style is great, but it's like, if you're going to bring this in sort of a modern setting and have people dress more modernly, I feel like maybe Peter could have dressed a little bit more modernly, because he's still with the, the shirt with the sweater and the jacket on top of it and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like, yes, you do look true to form for how Peter looked in the comics back in the 60s, but here we are in 2016. So if you're bringing everybody else forward, why not bring Peter forward too? And so, like I say, I think it was yeah. And so, like I say, it's not confirmed or anything that that's the reason why he dressed that way, but that's what I think. I feel like that kind of makes the most sense, is that, he got his style from Ben, and in Ben's passing, he kind of wanted to stay true to that. And so that's why he dresses the way he dresses.
Who had this issue, Spider? You name names. You name names right now. Who had the issue with Spider-Man dressing?
Well, like I say, it wasn't so much of an issue or a complaint or anything. It was just an observation that somebody made.
Tell them stop looking with their eyes. Look with their heart. It's the foot of it. Okay. Your chest is warm. Your arms are cold. But he has the jacket on over. I don't know why he wears so much, because he's got the suit on underneath it. He's only keeping the mask in the bag.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he just leave the mask in the pocket.
I couldn't tell you. Could not tell you why. He's got to be hot though, right? Because his metabolism already burns faster than the normal human because of his spider powers. And
Lonnie threw his jacket out.
And Lonnie was also wearing 3 shirts, because he had a t-shirt, a hoodie, and then he had the Letterman jacket. He got rid of the Letterman jacket.
This is why Spider-Man small, because he don't just let his muscles breathe so he can get big.
It's just he has 0 water weight because he's sweating 24/7 because he has 4 layers of clothing on.
Yes, makes no sense. Swinging, trying to catch L, so you don't pass out.
That's why he enjoys swinging so much, because he finally gets that cool breeze.
Damn near naked. I understand. You're fighting crime in your spandex suit.
Oh, man.
Put the clothes on. I'll take some clothes off. But you don't see Miles Morales do that. He had a hoodie on with some shorts and some J's. Then he had to, I guess I got to do the Spider-Man thing. I think his suit insulated though.
Who knows?
I'm just saying.
I don't know. But But yeah, so like I said, it was just an observation, but everything else I thought about the show was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. Can't wait for season 2. Don't know exactly when season 2 is going to come out, but it's the same thing like when we reviewed X-Men 97. You take the iteration of something that we grew up with and something that we love, you put it in new hands, and you hope and pray that they take care with it and that they give us something that not only scratches that nostalgia itch, but also gives us something new and something that we can look forward to hopefully continuing, because, we want that story to continue. And I feel like they hit that on all points with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And it's true to the character and the spirit of Spider-Man, but like we said all episode, this gave us something new. This subverted our expectations. It turns things on its head. It gives us twists and turns that we weren't expecting, and at the end of the day, everything was done cohesively. And I'm sure that, if you want to comb it with a fine-tooth comb well enough, you might find inconsistencies and plot holes and all this other kind of stuff. But for the average viewer...
Yeah, like people say, watch Spider-Man drawn that. Watch Peter Parker drawn this way. You can never take anything to death, right? You don't think much.
Yeah. But, for the general viewer, for the casual Spider-Man enjoyer, I feel like for the most part, people would enjoy this. And if you like Spider-Man, I can't see why you would not like this show.
Here's the thing. if you never, this show does so many things. If you don't even know who Spider-Man is, yeah, think about it. This is someone's first introduction to Spider-Man.
Yeah, could be.
This is going to be someone's. This is going to be their definitive Spider-Man. They'll know of Toby. They'll know of, and it's so interesting how Sam Raimi, didn't Sam do the first Spider-Man?
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, yeah.
Yes. It's so interesting how he had the forethought to make Toby's web shooters organic. I knew when I saw it then, he's going to be the only one that has that.
Yeah.
Because that's not Spider-Man.
No.
But
that
look
was
how
something that was never established.
Yeah, look how they paid homage to it in the last iteration. You say, you guys can't do that? It's like, no, we can't do that.
You are the only one.
Yeah, does it come out anywhere else? No, just the rest. Just the rest. It's like, because you're the only one that makes him the original, that makes him the organic. No one else can do that.
Right.
So, in this iteration of this Peter Parker, your original is you were created out of a paradox. Nobody else can do that.
Yeah. But I mean, because the thing about it is, if you think about it physiologically, it doesn't make sense for him to have organic web shooters on his wrists.
Nope.
Because as spiders spin web, that's not where it comes out of. So,
nope. That's why they always make the "does he spin webs out of his butt" jokes.
Yeah.
And that's how these boys played fun with it. Have the web shooter in the back because it's the shooter. Serious shooter.
And I mean, you know, in physiologically for that, if you are a crime fighter or you are a superhero and that's where you shoot your webs out of, I mean, it leaves you open to, but it leaves you open to be attacked because you have to turn around in order to shoot webs at somebody.
Dude, as soon as you turn around, I don't even know what's happening right now because nobody fight like that.
Yeah, it was like you get ready to fight somebody and they just turn around and bend over. You're like, oh, wait, hold up. No.
No.
This is not what I signed up for.
I'm putting my gun down right now because clearly you got a cannon or something. Everything that's about to happen right now, I don't want no part of. Any iteration of this, I turn myself in, I'd rather go to jail. Either that or just go run away. You turn around and turn your body to me, I'm leaving.
This is not the fight that I'm trying to get into.
Exactly. I don't want no part of this.
But Mr. VIP Frank of Washington, when it comes to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, do you think it's super?
Oh, without a doubt. No strings attached. Jeff did his homework, he did his research, and I heard he had to go through some ups and downs, some hurdles to get some things done, and then some things came real smoothly. And man, listen, you got big names attached to this, man. This ain't no small thing. But the quality is there. The nuances is there. The keys are there. And then the nostalgia is there, but the newness is there. You can see that it has so many layers in different places that it can go. And you say you don't think we'll get all the villains. I think we'll get a lot of them.
No, yeah, because I mean, even though that they didn't really dive into the backstory of, you know, Dimitri as Chameleon, we got to see him, you know, run from the cops, and then he comes back in his traditional like outfit of what he would normally wear as a chameleon. We get, you know, Mikhail Sisevich, and we don't know where Alexei is. Alexei might, you know, become the Rhino to break his dad out of jail. And then that's how we got the Rhino. We already got the Scorpion. We got almost a fully fleshed out Scorpion. You know, we're getting Tombstone, and we're going to eventually get Green Goblin. We got introduced to the Goblin Glider. We know we might get the Hobgoblin. You know, we already, like you said, we got a Ned Leeds reference on the board for the people that they were looking for to join the web. So, yeah, but I mean, like...
Wait, we got Amadeus Cho, but here's the thing. Amadeus Cho is a Hulk, but he's not really a Hulk. He's Skrull. It'll be interesting to see
No.
how they're gonna play that.
You're thinking of Hulk Ling, who is a Skrull, but
Hopefully,
Amadeus Cho is still. He becomes a Hulk. He's the astonishing Hulk or the awesome Hulk.
He is a Hulk.
I forget what his like his modifier was, because he's not the Incredible Hulk, but he's another Hulk.
Do we see Cho versus Peter or Hulk versus Spider-Man?
I mean, potentially the totally awesome Hulk. That's what he is. Yeah, that sounds like some shit he would say. The totally awesome Hulk.
Hey, gang recognize gang. We understand each other. Okay. He's totally awesome. I'm infinitely awesome. We understand. I might Hulk out myself.
You may be live on ATS. But I mean, you know, he
wouldn't like me when I'm hungry.
You wouldn't like it when his cup is empty.
Yeah, there you go.
But
run it over.
But no, I mean, with the number of, like you said, talking about Rose Gallery, with the number of villains and anti-villains and arch nemesis and antagonists that Spider-Man has in his Rose Gallery, there's no saying who can show up or who we can see. And that's the thing that makes it exciting, because you never know who's going to get pulled from where. Like you said, we don't have Vulture yet. We don't have Shocker yet. We don't have Electro yet. You know, we don't have Hammerhead. We don't have Silvermane. We don't have Silver Sable. There are so many characters that Spider-Man has interacted with that we could get throughout the run of the show, however many seasons it goes on. Who knows who we'll see. And kind of going back to what I was saying about how the show was originally intended to be the origins for Tom Holland, Spider-Man in the MCU. I'm kind of glad that they didn't stay with that, because if you stay with that, then you have a finite timeline before, if you're going to tie it into MCU, then we already knows what happened after Homecoming, and then we've already followed Tom Holland, Spider-Man beyond that. But because this is something different, we can introduce Nico as his friend as a freshman in high school. We can introduce Gwen Stacy. We can wait to introduce Mary Jane, or we can wait to introduce J. Jonah Jameson. We can wait to introduce these, you know, we can write the story however we want to write it, you know, faithfully including different characters down the line. But this is a new Peter. This is a new origin. So we can filter in characters however we want to filter them in. We have Richard Parker in jail for what? We don't know. But we don't know what he's in jail for. And then it goes to all those times May was like, oh, I'm going to run out to go run to the grocery store. Oh, I'm going to go run out because I got to work late. Oh, I'm going to all the time. Are we wondering, is every time May just sneaking out? Is she going visit Richard in jail, or is she actually going to do what she says that she's going to do?
That's a great question, Spider. That's a phenomenal question, because you need to bring that money home, because if she ain't working, what's she doing? You know what I'm saying? Peter out here trying to save lives, and she over there.
Those bills are being past due. I mean, that's a typical Parker problem. But the last thing that Richard says before I think that was the last thing before at the end of the final episode, was that he said, so let's talk about my son. Clearly, if May had been visiting him before, I'm sure that they've talked about Peter before. But with the way that he said it, I mean, I feel like if you're in jail and you know your sister-in-law is taking care of your kid, I gotta think that that's one of the main topics of conversation when she comes to visit.
Now, if she don't want to stay away from him, you're a horrible influence, because Uncle Ben's not there. Ben would have had him tight. But you're in jail. We don't know why. You're in jail. We don't know what you're doing. You don't talk to Peter. You stay away from him. No, every time you come here, I'm going to keep asking you about my son.
Yeah, I'll
visit you because I'm your sister, but I'm not telling you about your son. And they do this song and dance all the time.
I'm just wondering
I don't know, Spider. It's interesting. It is It's a twist.
Yeah.
What a twist. It's a dynamic that we not used to seeing. Now, we haven't seen Peter's father kind of alive before in the Amazing Spider-Man. They were attacked on the plane.
Yeah.
That was it. After that,
we got the couple of flashbacks, but it showed that Richard and Mary Parker were involved in some things that put them in the crosshairs of some dangerous people. And again, like we said, this takes what we know about Peter, what we know about his upbringing, what we know about his origin stories, takes little pieces from Toby, little pieces from Tom, little pieces from Andrew, little pieces from the 90s, little pieces from the 2000s, little pieces from the 60 comic books. It's taking inspiration from all of these other stories and kind of putting them all together into what we get in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So who knows where this can go. There could be the same situation where Richard and Mary were involved in some stuff, and it could be like a whole Flash situation where Mary gets killed and it gets pinned on Richard for whatever reason, but it's really whoever they were working with or working for that came and killed Mary and then set Richard up. And this happened when Peter was young. And so May, again, talking about secrets, May has been keeping these secrets away from Peter because Peter might believe that his parents are dead and Richard is sitting here in jail. And when that revelation comes out and Peter finds out that his dad is alive, how is he going to take that news?
His friends are horrible. All of them are horrible. You don't need friends, Peter. I'm telling you. You think you need friends. You just need a good suit that's impenetrable, and that's all you need. You're alone. All your friends will turn on you.
Speaking of impenetrable, that whole fight scene or the whole portion of that episode with Scorpion is just straight up killing people. I thought this was a kids animated TV show.
Welcome to Disney Plus. We stick a friend with y'all that needs ratings. I'm doing kid murder.
They were not afraid to that dude straight up died. He got stabbed through the middle of the chest. They didn't show the blood on screen, but he was done for.
They're not holding back. If you can hit a kid in the head with a brick in the trailer, somebody was gonna get it.
But
and then Lonnie crushed the brick at the end. Yeah, man, yeah. Scorpion. I mean, again, we say it, show it. He's menacing. He's out here not holding back, which makes the line even much more impactful. With great power comes great risk. You better get out there and do something.
Right.
Holding back, these guys are trying to kill you, and your suit's not supposed to be punctured. What is going on? It's happening. I need help. I'm in over my head. And that's something you rarely see from Spider-Man. But again, to have that anxiety come back when you see Scorpion again.
And when he was paralyzed with fear, could not even move.
And then the Scorpion leaped to attack, but he went to attack Don.
He went to attack Donovan instead.
But having Spider-Man having to face that fear right then and there in real time, it's like, dude, you got to get in the game because it's getting real out here.
Right. And for him, and I love the way that when he starts to fight Scorpion, how Gargan even makes a note. He was like, "Oh, so no jokes this time? No funny quips?" And if anyone who has been following Spider-Man for any, or at least Spider-Man comics for any length of time, one of the, I guess, well-known things is that if Peter Parker is not making jokes when he's fighting, that means he's in another headspace. He's not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in that moment. He is a man on a mission, and whoever he's going up against is in trouble because he is hyper focused, and he's like a thread away from snapping. Because we've seen it in comic books when someone that he cares for dearly gets hurt or gets killed, or or someone's threatening the life of Aunt May or MJ or something like that, that's it. He's locked in, and you, sir, are in trouble.
Right. You see what happened when Lonnie was pursuing to be dead. So you was about to kill Scorpion just off of that.
Oh yeah, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. He was like, it's not that he was necessarily holding back, but he understood the severity of what would happen if he lets himself be too callous against his opponent. So he's like, I have to focus. I can't be jokey. I can't be quippy, because this man is here and he's going to try to kill me. So I have to focus up. And then Lonnie gets hurt, and he's like, clearly what Norman said was right. He doesn't care. He's going to kill whoever gets in his way. And the only way for me to stop him is to end him. And so when we get Peter walking towards him and Scorpion is trying to stab him with the tail, and Peter is just like Matrix dodging it, just move to the side, bob, weave. And just like,
I saw him do a pepper seed in there a little bit. He did a pepper seed in there just a little bit.
He had that Kendrick walk on him. Say, Drake. He like a young.
Hey.
But yeah, it's something that, again, Peter, time and time again, has to kind of be brought back from that brink of crossing the line by somebody who is that moral compass. And for Lonnie being crushed, and I put in air quotes, crushed, being that situation is what pushed Peter like to almost cross that line. And then for Lonnie to come back and be the one that stops him, I think that was like a good like circle of poetic storytelling.
They know what they're doing. It's scary how much they know what they're doing. Because being in this genre, you, like you said earlier, you got these characters that we love, and you just want people to do right by them. And when they fall into the hands of a James Gunn, falling into the oversight of a Kevin Feige, or fall into the hands of Mr. Jeff, or many, many people that make great content and understand that character-driven content is the ones that we're going to emotionally gravitate towards, and understanding the source material. I was watching Mario the other day with my nieces, the Super Mario Brothers.
The animated movie?
Come on. The animated one with Jack Black and Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were talking about the John Leguizamo one.
Well, respect to it, because it paved the way too, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the newer one understood the source material and was able to implement it a lot better, clearly, as an animation versus a live action.
Right. So you can do a lot more.
But they had to understand that first. I mean, they were thinking, hey, let's do a live action Mario Brothers. And again, they paved the way for them to take this path. But they understood their audience, they understood their lure, they understood what they had, and it made a great movie. This is the same. They understand the genre, they understand the lore, they understand the villains, they understand that, it was always a thing for me. Why does everybody know who Peter Parker is? I don't even know why you wear a mask. Like, all your villains know who you are. Like, the mask is for the civilian people. But you can see in this iteration how you follow in the threads how they know. Clearly, you change in front of Spider-Man, into Spider-Man in a stairwell.
Right.
And the stairwell just so happened to be Norman's stairwell where people were stealing toilet paper. So he put a camera up. In business, you got to do these things. They take toilet paper out your place. So he called it, and he's like, "This on the camera, you straight. I got you." But then who else finds out after? Harry finds out because you came in hot.
Right.
No, Mr. Osborn, this is true.
We did it.
He was like,
I like how Norman was like, no.
Like, you started that. But how else would it happen? I mean, yes, your friend that's supposed, I'm his best friend. Oh, so you must know. It's an easy mistake. You must already know.
And he even said, so you must know, like, everything. And she's like, yeah, me and Peter don't have any secrets. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And then Nico was like,
right.
Well, what do you know? That's like that was like the line from Friends. I know something, you know something. Well, I know something, do you know something? Depends. What do you know? Tell me what you know. Well, I can't tell you. Well, then I can't tell you. And it's like, exactly. Clearly, if you're saying to me that you already know everything there is to know, then I'm like, yeah, like you said, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. I can get this off my chest because I need somebody to talk to about this when Peter's not around. And yeah, like you said, we understand where Nico's pain comes from, because clearly it's like these two have formed a bond where it seems like, yeah, they're close enough to where they tell each other all their secrets and everything. And she's upset because she felt like, as she put it, she felt left behind, where it's a feeling that she had to deal with often in her life. And she finally finds a friend where she feels like, oh, well, Peter and I, we do everything together. We hang out, we talk, we chill, we have fun, we do our schoolwork, all this other kind of stuff. And then once he starts to meet Harry, because it wasn't even about him, you know, becoming friends with Lonnie, but he became friends with Harry. Then all of a sudden, oh, well, now you're standing me up at a party. Oh, now we're supposed to be going watch this movie, but you bring Harry along. So she's feel like she's getting pushed to the side because Harry's gotten another friend. And then when you find out, oh, well, you told Harry first and you didn't even tell me, were you even going to tell me? You know?
No.
So she felt betrayed. No. But the thing about it is, like you said, being hypocritical about how she has this magical ability where it really made it seem like, and I love the way that they framed this in the show, it didn't let you know whether or not Nico knew for sure that she had magic until we got to episode 9, where she's standing outside the bus stop after she already knew that, you know, Peter is Spider-Man. And what did she get thrown? She got a car thrown at her or something. And she went to brace for impact and she grabbed her amulet and she held it out to protect herself.
Well, we knew that it did something when she was driving Harry's car.
No, we knew that it did something, but we didn't know that Nico knew, because it did it without her having to do anything. So we didn't know if it was just like something that was handed down from her parents or her grandparents, and it has an innate magic ability that is its main objective is to protect her. So if she's about to get into, you know, an accident or anything, the amulet will protect her whether or not she's aware of it. But then when she actively grabs it and holds it out, and then now we can see that she knows, and clearly we see at the end of episode 10, she knows how to activate it. And what we saw like in episode 9 where they were talking in the alley, no more secrets, and now, you know, she has a secret. Now, when she reveals this secret to Peter, is Peter going to act the same way that Nico acted towards him?
No, because Peter's an adult now. You know, he's grown.
A 14-year-old adult?
Seeing things. You know, he had that near-death experience, so you know.
Changed him?
He's changed now, forever changed. You'll never see that suit again. It's interesting how they are incorporating suits, though. Big thing for Spider-Man, the variation of suits.
Yeah, he has to be adaptable to his different villains.
Quite a plethora of suits. Now, here's the thing. I'm guessing Harry is going to be the one that's making those suits, since he's the one that made his last suit.
Well, he had the R&D scientists make the suit, but he kind of gave them the directions on, because he said he took some inspiration from the sketchbook.
Because clearly, you know, Harry has money.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a sole Harry project, or you think he's kind of getting money from Osborn still, and Norman can cut funding?
No, he said he had like money in different investments and stuff, and he had people that owed him favors that he could call in. So I think this is a 100% Harry Osborn owned venture. I don't think Norman can do anything with it. Norman can try to absorb him, because I'm pretty sure that Norman has way more money than Harry does. But
Did they take this from Green Arrow? Did they take this from Flash by having that like tech support system, that backing, that see the correlation or no?
I mean, I feel like in this modern day and age, you have to have some type of benefactor like that. If you have a superhero who's going to have these gadgets, and clearly there's never going to be enough time for Peter to be able to work on all of this stuff by himself. There has to be
at all.
Yeah, at all. There has to be, you know, a guy in a chair or a dude at the desk that's going to like spearhead the R&D.
What about a captain at the counter? Captain at the counter. I could be a captain at the counter.
You could be the captain at the counter. You can be the man at the mirror or wherever you want to be. I don't know. The man at the monitor. The man at the monitor. That's what it should have been.
There you go. The man at the monitor. There you go. I like that.
Whoever you want to be, however you want to do it, you have to have that person that's working with you, because there's going to be situations like when he got into the fight with Scorpion. It's the same thing with Batman, and he got gassed by a Scarecrow. Alfred. You got to have somebody to come pick you up.
Yeah, because, you know, he slipped and fall. Somebody, hey, what's the one that, when he was fighting Red Hood and they cut their line? Oof. Yeah. Travesty.
Yeah.
Not like that Robert Pattinson Batman, though. You can land on concrete and just hop up. I mean, he's doping anyway. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so, you know, who knows? I mean, I think that
no real hard predictions for season 2.
Hard predictions. Well, since we already got the artwork for Gwen Stacy, so definitely going to be a new Spider-Man or Spider-Gwen in the neighborhood, and how they might start working together. She might get brought into the fold with because I didn't see Gwen Stacy's name on the board of the prospective people. And here's the thing about it. All of these people that they're trying to bring into this new business venture, a lot of them are teenagers. So are they going to be like working like as a job, or is this supposed to be like some sort of I don't know like exactly what their objective is, like what their goal, what's your mission statement, like what's your credo, what's your mantra, what does this company stand for? We got to get all of these we got to get these questions answered, because you can't just have teenagers going into business for themselves.
Where's your vision board?
Right, where's your vision board? What's your 5-year, 10-year, and 15-year plan? Like, where are we going with this company? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because if it was just Harry, Peter, and Nico, then I can see them like starting this business and, you know, putting their money into research and development and like using the guise of maybe environmental or structural components to better like society, and then on the side be working on like Spider-Man things. But since you're bringing all these other people in, you know, are you absolutely going to still be able to work on Spider-Man stuff when you have other people who could get into, because we didn't even talk about I can't remember how to pronounce her name, either Jean or Jean Finesse working with Daredevil. Peter caught her in the in Norman's private stairwell or whatever, or his private elevator, and she was like, "Oh, my bad, I just got lost." Come to find out, she's working with Daredevil. She was the reason that Daredevil was able to break in.
That's crazy.
So, you know, and that might be how Daredevil finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, and Finesse finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. You know, who knows where things. Everybody's going to know by the time the show wraps up. Everybody's going to know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
I don't even know why he's wearing that.
Will it make things easier? Will it make it harder? But yeah, as far as like hard predictions, other than knowing that we're going to get Gwen Stacy, just the way that we thought everything was going to go this season, and how everything got turned around. Like we knew we were getting Lonnie Lincoln, so like, okay, cool, we're gonna get Tombstone, and then the character arc that we got from Lonnie was like, okay, well, that was nowhere near where I thought this was gonna go for, you know, Tombstone's development, you know, and we got Nico and we got Harry and we got yeah, and so we got everybody in May, and now we get Richard back, and what's going on with Otto and Scorpion and whoever else we get. But it's hard to say what we're gonna get in season 2 and season 3 because we didn't really know what we were gonna end up. Well, we had no idea that we were gonna get what we ended up getting out of season 1. So things I would like to see. I would love to see Daredevil come back because I love the way that Daredevil was trying to impart wisdom into Spider-Man at the same time while he was kicking his ass. Because clearly Spider-Man has a lot to learn.
So, you know, freshman year. So he just became Spider-Man.
So
he just got his web shooters technical.
Right. So I love to see Daredevil come back. I would love to see. I would love to see more about what's going on with Richard because that was just something out of left field that I had no idea was going to pop up. Also, Richard Parker voiced by Josh Keaton, who voiced Peter Parker in the Spectacular Spider-Man, which is awesome. I would love for other Spider-Man voice actors to be like a part of the show because I feel like they've paved the way for, you know, the character to be what it is today, you know, because we've had Josh Keaton, we've had Yuri Lowenthal, we've had Neil Patrick Harris be the voice of Spider-Man, like I was talking about the MTV Spider-Man animated series. So there's no shortage of cameos of people that we can get into these future episodes. And I think with the show being as much of a success as it is so far, because you're looking at the IMDb ratings and almost every episode is ranked over a 7 over a 7. The lowest rating I think was 7.3, and that was the first episode. And like I said, that was probably the episode that I had the most complaints of. Well, the biggest complaint about was that Peter, we get to hear about how smart Peter is, but we don't get to see Peter using his intelligence. And Peter being, you know, so love struck by Pearl and not knowing how to even compose himself around her. And after those first 2 episodes, they completely did away with that. Because with Peter being, I guess, like more aware of Pearl and Lonnie's relationship, and of course Peter's not trying to get in between Pearl and Lonnie, because
Lonnie would have whooped that ass.
I mean, he would have tried, but you know, Peter would have, if it came down to a fight, of course Peter wouldn't let on that he could, you know, take Lonnie in a fight. But as the episodes went on, we see that Peter actually is talking to Pearl as a friend, not as some, you know, he wanted Pearl to see him as a mature young adult instead of the kid that she used to babysit. And it wasn't until he started acting like a mature young adult and like talking to her as a friend, as a peer, that she was able to stop calling him PD and actually called him Peter. You know, we found that out in episode 10. But they moved away from him, you know, fumbling over his words, and just being himself.
Jessica and Morty nonsense. Yeah, let's Spider-Man be Spider-Man. Let's Peter Parker be Peter Parker.
Right. And so, like I said, that was like my biggest complaint about Peter as a character in episodes 1 and 2. And they easily did away with that. And I felt like it strengthened the relationship between them because they shared a common concern over Lonnie, and whether that brought out the maturity of Peter to where he could have a conversation with Pearl or not, you know, I felt like that was great development for that relationship over time. So, you know, wherever they can go in the next couple of seasons, I'm excited to see whatever they do.
Let me tell you where I want them to go. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing an X-Men or two. Just to see if they're in that world. Maybe a Beast or a Nightcrawler, a Rogue, or a Magneto. Yeah, it have to be a Magneto.
Yeah.
It's fresh. Just know Professor Charles Xavier is over there. Because, again, you're going to have a Hulk. And it might be a Spider-Man versus, Awesome Hulk. But just to know that they're over there. I mean, because Doctor Strange is there.
Right.
Iron Man is there. Captain America's in the picture. So just to know that there's an Xavier Institute for gifted youngsters over there. Yes, an Xavier Institute, not a Jean Grey Institute. Xavier
Was it ever
Institute.
called Jean Grey's Institute?
Yes. Yes.
But here's is what I'm wondering, because can you have a cameo if it's Charles Xavier? Then I think cool. Yeah, you can have a Charles Xavier cameo. But can you have a cameo from outside of Charles Xavier? Can you have a cameo from a single X-Man? I guess so, because they did it with Beast. I would say I feel like Charles or Beast will be the most logical cameos to pull in for X-Men, because I feel like any of the other ones, they come as part of a team, right? You get Jean, you get Cyclops, you get Storm, even Wolverine to a certain extent. I feel like if you see them show up, then it's because they're combating something. Like maybe there's Juggernaut running through New York because he's trying to steal something, and Spider-Man comes up against him and he runs through Spider-Man, and so that ends up having him to team up with the X-Men.
This is a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He hasn't gone out in space.
Right.
He hasn't done the multiversal stuff. He just time portaled and created himself. There. See where it goes.
The way you say that makes it sound so ridiculous. Just time portals and he created it himself. That's like calling yourself your own grandfather or something.
Happens all the time. We create ourselves all the time.
It's ridiculous, but it shouldn't. It does. It's not supposed to work. It's like I said. I'm so. I have conflicted feelings about that whole paradox situation, and it's. I accept it, but I don't want to accept it. But it's like I'm okay with it happening.
Spider or the Osborn. So it wasn't Osborn Spider.
That's why I have to be like, this is what I asked for. I said it should be a spider that came from Oscorp. I didn't know that time travel was going to be involved, but I got what I was looking for.
It's always involved. Somewhere along the lines of, hey, even Rick and Morty did it. They don't want to say they did it, but they did it.
Yeah.
Time travel was in the game and helps. It's too easy in plot device to clean things up. But to create a paradox and have your universe exist inside of that paradox with so many references to the main timeline or adjacent timeline or multiversal timeline, and wrap it up how they wrapped it up, it's genius.
Yeah.
It's genius. And if I didn't do the slow clap enough, definitely deserve all of these. I hope to see season 2 and 3. Don't let them put pressure on you. Create your creation how you want it created, man.
Right.
Take those swings and those liberties. You owe nobody no apologies. We know you can do it. Just continue to do what you're doing. It was so entertaining.
It was a great show. Great show. But let us know what you thought about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was super? But also let us know what you thought about this episode. And remember, if you liked it, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to reach out to us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
And leave comments because we read those.
Leave them.
And we might shout you out like we just did for, what's his name?
Globy Guy.
Yeah. That's like 4 shout outs in one episode. What are you talking about? How's this not your favorite show? What? Hey, man. We appreciate y'all, all of y'all. If you took the time out and you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button so you can see us when we post these again. And leave a comment because we read those.
Leave a comment.
That's all I got to say about it. I said that. You gonna tell them the last one?
We're gonna get to it. Now just looking to see what we got coming up next. Next.
It's like a post-credit scene.
Not a post-credit scene just yet. We got a little break. So we're going to surprise you guys with what we have next. So, like I said, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, so you can be notified when we have new episodes, so you can be the first to know what is the next thing that we're going to be reviewing. All right?
You want to come back for the foolishness. You want to see the anarchy. I can guarantee you it's crazy.
Consistently inconsistent. We preach it all the time. You never know what you're going to get with the show.
But it's enjoyable. I do know that. It's consistent with that.
That is one thing that you can bank on. You're going to have a good time. But thank you all for those of you who have joined us for this episode. We love and appreciate all the support, all the comments, everything that you leave for us. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next episode. But just remember, until then, keep being super.
And tie your shoes.
Don't want to trip and fall.